Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. I hope you're having a really great day. It's really cool to see you all roll in. So welcome, get comfy, have a cup of tea. Honestly, it's actually 25 degrees outside here in London. So have a nice iced coffee, have something fresh, and we'll be starting in a minute. Good morning to all of you. If you're feeling chatty, there's the chat box in there, and you can say hi, say where you're coming from, and hopefully how hot it is where you are. We're in London today, and it's very warm here, and it's amazing. So may it last. Cool. Okie dokie. So we still have a few more people rolling in, but we're going to give it a couple of seconds more and then get started. I hope you all have really exciting plans for the long weekends. I do. I'm going to make the most of London being empty to enjoy the city. I hope you have some beautiful things planned because you know what? We don't get that many bank holidays in the UK overall. Speaking from the perspective of a French person. So make the most of it. Enjoy it. We work hard enough. Okay, that's enough of my motivational speech for this morning. We're going to get started with this very exciting webinar where we're going to be introducing you to collections. So welcome. My name is Alexa. I'm the co-founder and the COO of HR DataHub. I'm joined today by Jack Power, who is our senior product manager. And together, we will be talking about the new release of our feature called Collections. What is it? Why did we do it? How you can leverage it? You're going to get a full demo of that so that you can jump straight off of this webinar and straight onto the HR Data platform and start building lots of collections and hopefully level up your benchmarking game, which should be already pretty high because you're using HR Data Hub anyway. So before we get into the details of how everything works, I really want to make a point as to what do we even do here at HR Data Hub? And if you have been with us for a while, a lot of this will be familiar, but our entire reason of being is to help you. So that's people that are involved in benchmarking and making salary decisions for employees at your businesses. We want to make you feel really confident and make you really consistent at how you go about making those recommendations. That is the best way to help you feel good about doing your job. That's the best way to help your business be the most efficient possible in retaining talent and attracting talent, and also make a task that frankly is very complicated, benchmarking, make that so much smoother so that you can spend way less time trying to get to the right data and way more time building efficient compensation decisions that really align with your pay philosophy, where your business is at, where what's the norm for your sector, all of these beautiful things that you know how to do really well. So that's what we're here for. Recently, so we have obviously a platform that does that help you do that. Recently, over the past few months, we've released some really, really cool features to help make this even better. So you will have noticed that we have released tons of different filters to help you maximize your confidence in getting to data that is most relevant and most comparable with the roles that you're benchmarking. So that's the range filter, the ability to filter by organization, so target specific competitors that you may have in the market and see what they're paying and what they're offering for their jobs. Filter by keyword, that's been there for a while, and the idea is that you can target the content of a job description to target specific responsibilities, qualifications, words that you think definitely this is going to make that job relevant. And our latest release, which is the filter by industry. Filter by industry is one of my favorite filters because especially as a tech company, when we're, for example, recruiting a salesperson, I want to make sure that it's a salesperson that understands and is comparable with the tech industry, not retail. So I really hope you're maximizing those now. We've also recently released saved searches. You'll have heard a lot about that, which is all about making sure that all this hard work you're putting into benchmarking and finding all the right combination of filters, etc., to get to the data that makes sense for you, you can capitalize on that. You can save all of those parameters as a save search and come back months from now and just rerun it, so that the 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes that you spend benchmarking a role now, you're actually making this a one-click action months from now when you have to do it again. Because that's really the whole point, is not to struggle every time you have to benchmark and to reinvent the wheel every time, so that every second you spend on HR Data Hub is a bunch of minutes that you're saving next time you're using it. So I hope you're making the most of this now. And what we're going to talk about today really builds on that, because collections is all about aggregating a number of saved searches together in folders and categories that make sense to you. And the reason you want to do that is because you have to get really organized. Most of us don't just benchmark 2, 3, 4 roles. We're here in the 10, sometimes the hundreds of roles. So we want to make sure that we can search through all of those different searches that we've saved as efficiently as possible, and we can group them so that we can go back to them and look at them and analyze them in a time-efficient way. So again, stepping it up, raising the bar once more on how organized we can be in doing that and how fast we can be. The idea is, if you group a number of saved searches in categories that make sense to you, so that could be based on lots of different things, regionality, different types of teams, etc., you can compare that data and that benchmarking information effortlessly, because it's all in a view that makes sense and that's contextualized. Instead of scrolling through hundreds of different safe searches, you can be like, I want to see my marketing team. I want to see all of the roles that we have in Bristol, etc. And the idea at the end of the day was always the same. Because you are being really efficient with the way that you're looking at that, and you're grouping roles together that make an analysis that's meaningful to you, you can be more confident with the recommendations that you're putting forward. That's why we're here. So I'm really, really excited for Jack to take you through this in detail so that you can make the most of it. Sally, thank you for the shout out on the Save Searches features. We love that you're loving it. If any of this is, other than collections, is new for any of you, definitely message us, because we can send you a video, we can help you make the most of them, so that then you can swiftly roll into maximizing collections efficiently too. So that's a bit of a whirlwind, but you don't need to hear from me that much more, because you're going to be hearing a lot from Jack, who's going to take you through a demo. So Jack, over to you.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Lisa. So I'm going to now share. So yeah, as Alex mentioned, we're going to be going through a real, hopefully extensive and thorough demo on collections. But first, introduce myself. As said, I'm Jack. I'm the senior product manager here at HR DataHub. What that means, I'm the guy who prioritizes our product roadmap. I coordinate our go-to-market, make sure everything goes out efficiently, and I read every single thoughtful piece of feedback that you and your colleagues send us every week, which I'm sure you do all the time. So yeah, today what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be operating as a reward manager at a construction firm based in Manchester, with projects around the country. So what you're going to see here is on my screen the homepage of HR DataHub. If you haven't used it in a little bit, or you haven't taken full advantage of that Save Searches feature, you'll be pleasantly surprised with this recent Save Searches. So I'm someone who's saving a lot of searches, doing a lot of benchmarking on a regular basis. We get a brief glance at those recent ones here and now. So if you want to find those Save Searches and the newly released collections feature, you can jump into the My Save Searches at the top left, and you'll see some new folders here. So collections are all presented on this left-hand sidebar. By default, we introduce 5 collections for every single user. These are the HQ roles, high-risk roles, planned recruitment, competitors, and HR function. You might see something slightly different on your screen, depending on how you've onboarded and the information we have about you. So, for example, HQ roles might actually be London roles if your HQ is based in London. Construction competitors here. It's construction based on my company's industry. However, if you're working in technology, transport, whatever that might be, this will be a bit more reflective of what you've onboarded and the information you've given us about your industry. So as you can see, I've done a bunch of saved searches already, and those are all visible here and now. So this is going to be a build on saved searches on top of what we've done based on the user feedback we've gotten. And these different collections that we've introduced kind of the default are just an example in a way that you might be able to use collections to its full advantage. So these can be based on the function or department or business unit that the roles might be part of. You could be grouping by priority roles or high risk turnover staff. We hope that this will save you a lot of time in doing repeat searches and by organizing them into really relatable and understandable categories. We really hope that this addresses that job that Alexa mentioned about users being able to confidently and consistently make reward recommendations that are aligning with your reward philosophy. We think generally that the organizing searches that are going to back up these organizing of your searches are going to back up your reward recommendations really efficiently and in a sensible manner, ensuring that they can be retrieved, referenced, replicated at a moment's notice. So what have I got here? I've got HQ roles, it's already got a couple in there, but the rest are blank. So what we're going to do is going to benchmark a new role from the beginning and show you how that can be added and organized. So I'm going to go over here, benchmark a role, and I'm going to build out another one for my construction firm. So I'm going to go for a quantity surveyor. Very important role in construction business. Now, given we're based in Manchester, I'm going to go to Manchester, 20 miles, 26 weeks should do. So we're going to be looking for a core member staff or an annual salary. The school things I know I'm going to want to exclude. We are looking for someone kind of with a bit of experience, so we're going to exclude apprentices. So get rid of that. We're going to exclude junior to assistant to kind of associate with that as well. And we're in the construction industry now. Given quantity surveying is such an important role in our industry, likely most of the roles will come from that. But it's important to rule out, any outliers. And so yeah, so that looks like a pretty solid search for me. So I'm going to hit apply and run the search. So see what kind of results we're going to get. Hopefully a fairly sizable one. Yeah, 384 roles over the last 26 weeks. Seems like a pretty solid benchmark. We're seeing a median pay of £57,500 and some interesting insights here. We can see that the pay trend over the last 6 months has been down a little bit. And the actual annual salary trend is quite down, 37.1%. It's quite interesting. So I'm going to at this point save this role. There's a couple of ways of doing that. If you've been using save searches, you can do it the normal way of doing it here. So I can hit save, and what that'll do is save it. We are saving with the default title, which is untitled, but let's make it a bit more user friendly. So I remember it. Quantity surveyor, Manchester. Okay, and if I hit enter or just click any way, that'll save and update the search. Now you'll see here, this previously was just a link to our mail save searches, but now it involves a little component drop down. So I can have a look through all of my existing collections that I have, or I can create new. So if I wanted to, I can add this to my other collections. What I'm going to do is add a brand new one. So that one I'm going to create is going to be Manchester Crew. I know that's going to be likely a number of roles that fit that. So that's created that collection, and I'm going to just hit save to ensure that it's added. We'll see the most recent collection named here, but if I've added it to multiple collections, which I can do, we'll just see multiple collections. So let's jump back into my saved searches and have a look. So we can see that role is here. Quantity surveyor, Manchester. Yeah, everything looks right. So our new collection is created over here with that count of 1 being the one role that we've added. Cool. So next up, we're going to add some of our existing searches to collections to get a bit more organized. So I know, for example, I've already done this with my HQ roles. So these are the ones that basically my headquarters, payroll admin, HR business partner, operations manager. I've actually done some benchmarking already around site managers around the country and some of the projects that we're working on. You can see them here, site manager in Manchester, London, Bristol, and Glasgow. So I'm going to create a new collection and add those to that. So first off, hitting this add button, we create a new one. And let's call it site manager, site engineer. Okay, so if we look back at our roles, I'm going to select the ones that I want to add to that new collection and hit add to collection up here on the right by clicking that three dots menu. Once I've done that, I can see site engineers right at the bottom and hit save. Perfect, they've been added. I can see there that the count of 4 has been updated, and if I want to check that, I can go over here. And I can see clearly and easily the media pay for each, the pay type, location, the time frame. If I want to jump back into one of these to have a little look, so for example, this site engineer in Glasgow, for example. Oh, well, that is awkward. So yeah, we can have a look at any of these. Site engineer, I usually check them out. Cool. Well, we'll move on quickly. So our high risk roles, we've obviously been given this kind of default collection here. Something that we might want to look at. I know from example, this site engineer in London is a high risk role, as well as the plumber in Manchester that I was looking at just yesterday. So we're going to add those two roles, plumber Manchester, to that collection. So adding that to our high risk roles. Save, easy peasy. I also want to add those to another one. So if I wanted to add to multiple, it's very, very easy. You can see, let's go for our site engineer in Glasgow, we'll add our plumber in Manchester, and we'll add our quantity surveyor in Manchester. Let's add them to multiple roles, multiple collections. So let's see, let's go high risk roles, we'll go for our Manchester crew, and let's go for our site engineers. So easy to add to multiple. Now you might wonder if there was anything that was overlapping, those won't be added a second time. Those will be simply added once, and they won't be duplicated. So next will be. We've also got a couple of HR roles. All right. So we have this HR function, and you might decide to change this. All these default collections you can change, update, you can delete them if you want, to be more suitable to what you're looking for. However, we just added them in as we know everyone and everyone in this space is going to benchmark their own role first. I know I've done it, you've done it, don't lie. But HR function and HR will HR. Okay. So yeah, we've got a good collection here. Plan recruitment. So we're going to be opening a new office in Bristol pretty soon, and we want to duplicate all of our HQ roles into plan recruitment, and we're going to do some changes. So HQ roles, easy peasy. I can see that these are here. We're going to be looking at duplicating these and adding them to our plan recruitment. So it's very easy to duplicate your roles. You can jump in and then update them in a second. So this duplicate of operations manager, we know that that's £48,500 from Manchester, but we're going to be moving to Bristol. So what would that look like if we move that over to Bristol? Let's have a search. So not far off, it's actually pretty similar, and we're good benchmark, 149 job posts. So we're going to update the title of this and save it. Duplicate operations manager, Bristol HQ. And done. And now we're going to add that to a brand new collection, Bristol HQ. Okay. Save. Now, if I wanted to, I could easily ensure that that is only in the Bristol HQ collection by removing it from HQ roles simply by ticking there and saving again. We've removed it from HQ roles, which keep our collections organized. I can go through and do that for each of these to ensure that that's really a quick reflection of what that Bristol HQ might look like if we were to move operations there. Easy, but I'm gonna keep moving forward. So next one here, we've got construction competitors. Now we know a really brilliant use case of HR DataHub is being able to check out what the market is doing, who's doing what. Maybe your industry, maybe within direct competitors, you're able to either take a look at specific roles that those companies are looking at, or just as a general, what's the market doing in your location. So I've done a number of roles for Manchester. that are really important to us. And I've done them all within the construction and engineering industry. So if we open this up, civil engineer, we can see civil engineer, we looked at within Manchester, within the construction and engineering industry. So I'm going to add all of these to our construction competitors. And I'm going to do that now. So what ones do we do? We'll do water, repair, health and safety, estimator, design manager. If I wanted to do a bunch at the same time, I can simply hold Shift on my keyboard and click down from the top to add multiple. But it's going to add those all into our construction competitors collection. Have a little look. Yeah, nice. Now, competitors doesn't really summarize the really nature of this. This is more of a watch. So construction through monitoring is probably a better title for this. So I can easily update that from the top by selecting that there, and then we've got an updated collection. Okay. So that's in a nutshell, the functionality, the purpose, the benefit of collection. There's lots of different ways of using it. You can always add as many as you want. We've made it really, really efficient. You wanted to rapidly add a bunch of collections and then, start pumping out benchmarks. You can do that in a second. You can also delete those and clean them up very easily. No problem at all. I'll delete a bunch there. So those features we've created in this version 1 of collections, we hope is really going to help you, to benchmark really easily and retrieve and reference and replicate those really consistently. So once you've done that confident bit of benchmarking, make sure you can do it at scale. So if there's nothing else, I'm going to just take a look, see if there's any questions, and if there is, I'd love to answer them for you. So let's have a little look.
No, I think we're all.
No, we're good. Cool. Well, if you do have any questions, obviously you can pop them in the chat. If not, we'd love to hear your feedback as always, as I mentioned, and you can send it through to either myself or Alex, who's usually your customer experience manager. Or you can also go via the platform if you want, take a look at our roadmap, take a look at what's coming up, as well as what's coming up and what's leave some feedback. You can always provide an idea here if you want, and we'll always check that out. We'll always acknowledge it. And we really hope to see lots of collections being created in the coming days. So at the end of this webinar, jump on, create a collection, start benchmarking really confidently and consistently. Cheers.
Yeah, I'll take it over from here. Thank you so much, Jack. There actually have been in the last minute 2 questions in the Q&A, which I'm going to answer, and then I'm going to give you a preview of what are the next features that are coming up and what you can be excited about. So if you can stop sharing your screen, Jack, I'm going to take over. Thanks. So one of the questions was that we said that this was V1. What about V2 and beyond? Excellent question. I'm about to talk about that in our upcoming features, but our vision for this is that eventually, again, I'm not saying this is happening next month or next week, but our vision for this is that eventually you could set up the large majority of your organization on there and just possibly automate the benchmarking running so that it's always running in the background, so that you don't have to go in and manually relaunch it every time. You can set something once, set it there, and eventually maybe it even notifies you when things changes. So this is really the vision of where we're trying to go with that. A lot of it will depend on us talking to you and getting your feedback and understanding if this is what's meaningful or not, or how you might want to use it. There are a lot of different features around how do you report on that? How do you share that? So those are the different things that might come in a V2 and beyond for this type of feature. The idea is to really understand how can you simplify this across your entire organization, not on a case-by-case basis. And Carrie, this is pretty much a link to the answer to your question, which is, can you share results or collections with other HR DataHub users within your business? In this version, in this release right now, no, you can't. This is just limited to your own view. and your own account. But that is absolutely the vision for what we want to build next, because we know that in a lot of organizations, the benchmarking job is really decentralized. So you'll be able to, you'll, as a team, you'll spread the word, but the idea is to kind of like, as a team, be able to capitalize on other people's work. And so while we won't allow, it won't be possible to do this in this release right now, that's absolutely what's, we hope the feedback that you'll get give us so that we can then build it. Nishat, you're saying, I have a few people who do benchmarking, and in the future, will there be an option that they can see a shared view? That's exactly linked to what I just explained. So I hope that this is clear for you, that right now they won't be able to see anything that you're doing because that's contained within your account. But the idea of what we want to build is that one day they will be able to, and you'll be able to share that across. Speaking of what's coming, this is the long-term vision. I do want to give you a little preview of what's coming next. And when I say next, I definitely mean in the next couple of months. So what I really want you to remember in terms of what's coming up on our roadmap in the short term is first of all, an increased level of precisions on job titles and search parameters. So we're specifically talking about the ability to exclude words from the job titles. Right now, you can only exclude certain words from the filters that you're using within the job description, but we know that sometimes some users want to be extremely precise about the type of job title that they're looking for. For example, quantity surveyor, it needs to be quantity surveyor, but not assistant or something like that. So that's part of the release that's coming up in the next few weeks. We're also going to do the same about location. Now, we have had so much feedback about this. It's one of the #1 thing that has been coming up in recent months. Can I just exclude London? Can I do, UK, but exclude London? Can I do Southeast, but exclude X area? So this is what we're introducing so that you're able to be even more precise about the type of insights that you want to get, and remove certain location that may skew the data, especially if you're looking at regional information. So lots of exciting stuff. Obviously, we'll have another fantastic, possibly chaotic release webinar to tell you all about it when it happens, but that's what's coming up. And after that, what we're looking at is starting to introduce insight on the prevalence of certain benefits within job descriptions. Now, some of you might hear the word benefits and be like, ooh, exciting. Can I benchmark this? What can I get from that? So benchmarking is a whole topic. Sometimes it's a whole different job to look at that. But we know that from the content of the job descriptions that we capture in HR DataHub, at times, and especially for certain benefits, there's a lot of information about whether that's included, sometimes what the values of those are. So we're doing a big piece of work on, are we able to show you that out of the 500 results that you got for this role, X% of them mention a bonus, X% of them mention something else. So again, this is a much denser piece of work, and we'll be communicating a lot about that in the future, but that's what's on the horizon for us next. So stay tuned. And finally, if you haven't been bombarded with enough marketing messages just yet, what have you been up to? Because we have been talking about lots of really exciting stuff that you can leverage. All of this is on our website, and you can use it for free. We've been running reward school webinars on different facets of reward and how to make sense of them and how to leverage them within your organization. We've been releasing toolkits that are concrete documents that you can use within your business to quantify and even sometimes like build pieces of work for your company. So for example, the reward toolkit helps you build pay ranges. The benefits mapper helps you map certain benefits and understand the cost of those within your organization. And as always, many reports on what are the trends in the industry, what can you look forward to. So jump on HRDataHub.com or open our marketing emails and leverage all of that good information. We hope it's been a really valuable webinar for you today. It's been lovely having you with us, and we hope to see you on the platform really soon or in our inboxes. Contact support@HRDataHub.com if you need anything or any support. We'll be really happy to help. Happy benchmarking to all of you. Have a really good, what day is it? Thursday. Have a good long weekend, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.